made it another week on the internet. The NSA haven't taken us down. The drive-bys occurring outside haven't stopped us.
It's a freaky deaky night here in Geelong.
It is. It's
gifts for the geek.
Thank you very much for that. So he's doing it very, very well. Episode 2 of graphic content. Thank you very much for two. Thank you.
No, it's all right. I haven't masturbated all day.
That's nice.
Well,
don't lie. They don't like it when you
not
like
since lunchtime. I was hungry.
Geez. Yeah, apparently.
Mayonnaise!
All right. Anyway, all right, back. We're back.
Comics.
So we're talking about comic books. We're talking about The Darkness 1 and 2, which is the game adaptation of the thing, which are great games, but I guess people will find that out later. We're looking at Marvels and...
Not Marvels as in Marvel, the publishing group, but Marvels is the title of the Marvel comic.
Thank you for
Marvels.
that. Yes, it is. And the other one is Criminal, which is fantastic.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Don't spoil it.
Sorry. It's shit.
And
it sucks ass.
Anyway. The other one is Fred Van Lente, who did some of the Marvel Zombie stuff. And he did Cowboys versus Aliens.
And every year, for about 40 days, you have to light another candle every week?
Well, no. Well, because that's a Lent thing. Yeah, okay, that's it. Yeah.
Religious joke.
Well done. 3% of the audience are going to get that, and they probably left after the masturbation joke if they're Catholic anyway. So thank you for that.
Trust me, I was raised strict Catholic. I know what we're all doing.
Strict. Anyway.
Hairy palms.
Let's just go. Don't just...
Hi, my name's Rankin. I'm a comic creator from Melbourne. My credits include Simpsons comics, Futurama. I've done some work for The Dandy and Beano in the UK. And my creator-owned project, Itty Bitty Bunnies in Rainbow Pixie Candyland, is coming out soon through Action Lab Danger Zone.
So the two books we looked at this month were Marvels and Criminal, which are both very good books, but we'll cover off with Marvels first.
Yep.
Which is, I guess, how do you describe it? It's set in the 30s, just around when the war started, and it kind of follows the main events of Marvel's timelines.
But from the perspective of a journalistic photographer.
Yes, and so it offers something different. You know, you're so used to seeing superheroes fighting and I'm going to do this. And
I have a big one.
Yeah. But to watch someone who's kind of just sitting there and has to kind of take it all in and have no real participation in it, it was definitely a twist on the usual formula.
It was. I must admit I am definitely not much of a superhero reader, but I did find it an interesting read. Bit of a slow burner maybe from my point of view, but I did finish it. I don't know if I'd be in a rush to buy it, but I would recommend it for at least one read, and I can highly recommend from an art point of view, Alex Ross.
Yes, his art style is really good, and it's of a different era. Like it fits that era perfectly. It's kind of that borderline, 30s to 50s, where they're muscular, but they're not like articulated. Todd McFarlane. Geez, I nearly did a bad one there.
He's not
like super muscular. Yeah, he's not cut.
They're not ripped, shredded.
Yes, thank you. Don't. But no, otherwise, like again, it's a slow burn. It's good. You won't sit there and smash this in one sitting.
I'll give it like a 6.5, 7. Yeah. If 5 is decidedly average, it is better than average, but it's not.
It's not rush out and read, which I would argue Criminal is. Criminal is a fantastic series by Ed Brubaker and Sam Phillips.
Absolutely.
It's how do you describe? It's kind of like Sin City, but not as Frank Miller-y.
No.
But everything takes place in the same universe. Yeah. There's recurring themes. But all the characters have different stories to tell. And
yes, they all seem to be very separate from one another, but they all do happen to live in the same spot. But it's the crime noir, is that what it's called?
Yeah. It's very noir. Like yes, and like reading it, you read the first one, which is Coward. Story of a bank robber or like a thief.
Yeah, like a heist gone wrong sort of dude.
And you kind of go into it, you're thinking, heist gone wrong. Well, by the end of it, you're hooked.
Definitely.
And having the old, not even the uncle as a character was really good.
That's right, yeah.
And then you have Lawless, which is the second one, which follows. It's Tracy,
Tracy,
the ex-soldier coming back to do some strongman, or to pay a lot of old debts back, if you will.
Is it a spoiler if I say he's here to find out what happened to a member of his family?
Yes, well, that's not really. That's pretty much Quam Noir Central, isn't it?
Quam Noir Central.
Quam.
Philo o fish.
Thank you. But I guess the point is, it's a fantastic book. I couldn't put it down.
I must admit, again, I'm not a crime noir person, but I'm completely addicted, and I am going to now, from this point forward, go out and buy criminal books.
Yeah.
They're fucking awesome.
They really, I think there's no other really way to say it. We don't need to score them.
I couldn't give a shit about crime noir, but I give a shit about criminal.
Put that on the cover.
Stick that up your bum and lay eggs.
Don't do that. Now, if we're talking video game comic book crossovers, we have to mention The Darkness. There have been 2 games in the series, and they've both been great for different reasons. Now, the first game takes off the story with Jackie Estacado. You're a mob hitman. Turns out you've got this whole darkness thing in your genealogy that takes over you. Yada, yada, yada. There's a big plot twist. I can't really spoil it because it takes a lot away from the story. But one thing the game manages to do is convey that story really well. There's a lot of really touching scenes and a lot of really good character development. And one of my favorite scenes is lying there on the couch watching a movie with your girlfriend. And as strange as that sounds, it actually really, really works. It's a pity that the gameplay sucks because you spend most of the time shooting out lights because, you know, if he sees so much as like a sliver of light, he loses all of his powers. And then you go into like this weird Nazi alternate universe, whatever, it doesn't matter. The gameplay isn't great, but the Darkness one tells the story really, really well. Then we have The Darkness 2, which has not only really good shooter gameplay, as well as a really well-told story. It changes into a cel-shaded style. Now, while that normally doesn't work, I guess for a comic book adaptation, it really works. And it continues the story of Jackie dealing with a loss that happens to him in the first game. And I guess going through the different kind of world and woven universes that The Darkness has in store for him. There's a lot to like about the series, and particularly if you're picking up the comic book for the first time, it's a great way to introduce yourself to it. But if you are an established reader of The Darkness, this is probably one of the better adaptations you could have asked for. All right, well, it's Christmas time. You've got me wearing the festive hat.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah. Oh, what do you call me? No. So we thought we'd look at some cool Christmas stuff. Let's start off with zombies, aliens, and monsters.
Oh my.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what it says there. So it's a board game. Because board games are suddenly back in fashion.
They are. Over the last 8 months, board games have really, you know, have started to swing back up. And people, especially in the geeky world, we want something a little bit more, you know.
Yeah.
Too many families have been destroyed over Monopoly.
True, that's true.
This is a board game where you get to be a monster, a human, an alien, and you're all trying to take over the city.
Okay.
It's actually made by a local company, and I can never pronounce the name, but it's that one there.
Ambivalent Overlord.
Based in Geelong, actually, and this has been a massive big seller. It started through Kickstarter. Started after a customer of ours had a near-death experience, so there's a little bit of info.
There you go. That's something he can take to his grave.
But it's actually a really good fun game, good 4-player, good family game. There has been a shift back from the angry loner on the PlayStation.
Yes, yeah. Oh, wow. There's always a place for the angry loner on the PlayStation. Let's be honest. But I mean, obviously, this time of year we're used to having all of the Christmas specials. You know, we get Charlie Brown doing the same goddamn Great Pumpkin crap again. They've gone comic booky this time.
Well, the Christmas comic has been there since the 70s, but it used to be like a really goofy, stupid thing, like, you know, Kiss Save Santa.
That
kind of stuff. Over the last few years, we've seen this rise in high quality, beautiful, well-written graphic novels.
Yeah.
Based on a Christmas theme. You're always going to have your classics like your Smurfs, your little one.
Okay.
But over the last couple of years, this has become the big one. Batman Noel.
So, Batman is a Christmas story, seems a bit...
Yeah, it's not straight up a Christmas story. It happens on Christmas Eve, much like the new game.
Yep.
Batman doesn't realise he's become a Scrooge character, and he's too busy working on Christmas Eve, hunting down criminals. Catwoman rocks up to remind him, hey, he used to have fun, you know, out of the past. Superman rocks up to show him that if he keeps going like this, he's going to have no future.
Right,
so
okay.
Beautiful design graphic novel.
See, it's Bermeo, isn't it?
Yeah,
so it's very, I mean, they're very good with art. Like, I find the Latino artists tend to have like the real, like, articulated faces and stuff like that.
It's gorgeous, and it's become one that the geeks like to read to their kids on Christmas.
Well, there you go. It's the new Hans Christian Andersen stories of our time. What can we say? And I guess the last thing, and probably the most popular thing, that's one.
That's one.
Is the pop vinyl figures.
These things, you know, are great to pop in a stocking.
Oh, jeez. That's
great if you pop out for a Secret Santa.
Okay, yep.
And great to pop off to.
Ooh, okay.
No,
what are you, Ben? Jeez. But no, because I guess the one thing with these that always works is the fact that there's like so many licenses. Like you can always find
something for somebody. And you know, at $15 a pop, they're a great little item. They're everywhere. The Battle of the Planets are coming out soon along some.
You'll enjoy that, yeah.
But also this, you know, gets the Geek shameless plug. We're running Merry Popmas this year, which means spend $60 in store on anything, get one for free.
See, there you go. If you ever need a reason to pop down to Geelong or get online to check out Gifts for the Geek, Darren, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for popping in.
And oh, Jesus Christ.
Now, Fred, can you tell me how you got into comics?
How did I get into comics? Well, I was a fan from an early age. My parents got me like the reprints of the Marvel comics, the classic Marvel comics, the Steve Ditko and Stan Lee on Spider-Man, him and Jack Kirby on Incredible Hulk and Fantastic Four. So I was really into them at an early age. and I just kept reading them. You know, I was lucky to be around during the 80s when Alan Moore was doing Watchmen and Swamp Thing, and Grant Morrison on Animal Man, and Frank Miller's Dark Knight and all that stuff. So with as I got older, I was able to find comics that continued to interest me, and that remains to be the case today.
So why comics as a medium? Why not novels or plays or movies?
That's a great question. I started out. Are you asking me why did I get into them, or why as a professional?
As a writer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a great question. What happened was I knew I wanted to be a writer, but I dabbled in prose. I wrote screenplays. I actually went to film school in upstate New York to study that. But I ended up hanging out with the fellows in the comic book club who were studying to be comic book artists who were in the illustration program. And just the immediacy of their art bringing my ideas to life kind of really sold me on doing comics instead. And so I really got bitten by the comics writing bug at that point. When we graduated, they had already started working for the big companies like Marvel and DC. So I actually moved to New York with them, and we all just tried breaking into the industry together.
Okay. As a writer, does the type of book, whether it's a major Marvel book or whether it's a more creator-owned, does that affect how you write?
Not really. I mean, only in the sort of nuts and bolts of it. I mean, it's still storytelling, whether it's for Marvel or for myself. I mean, it's when I'm my own boss, I'm able to control every aspect of the project. In the case of Marvel, you've got a large corporation with this very popular, worldwide popular IP that they expect you to take care with. And there's also much harder deadlines there in terms of stuff actually has to go out. I can actually delay my own project until it gets right. So a lot of things go out from Marvel that I am only 98% happy with, while I can send something out for myself that I'm 99.8% happy with.
Okay. Now, one of your books, Cowboys was made or adapted into a film. Did that affect your career?
You know, if it had been a bigger hit, it probably would have more of an effect on my career. I think that they kind of downplayed the comics connection quite a bit. I think there were legal issues involved there. I wasn't really involved in the production. I kind of wanted it to be more of a family-friendly type movie. That's why I thought the material really warranted, and they didn't agree, and then they got their butts handed to them by the Smurfs. So I find myself vindicated, in my opinion.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Fred.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
So that was Fred Van Lente. It's always good to see more international guests coming out to Australia and agreeing to be interviewed by us, which is difficult to get them to do after they watch the episodes.
I know. I mean, we try to put a professional face on it, but you just keep being a dickhead, don't you?
Yeah, that is the
I'm
problem.
only joking.
It is a problem. Yeah,
I'm very fond of you, Jason.
No, that's nice. But it's also weird talking about so many superhero comics because I never thought I'd care about superhero comic books.
Or even crime noir.
That was a very good pronunciation of noir.
Horror.
We got Old Man Logan next time, which is going to be good. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yep.
But I mean, what are you going to do now? You're going to go make some more comics yourself or read some more? Or?
Yes, I'm currently on the actually, by the time you see this, I will pretty much have finished Cranbourne issue 9.
There you go. That's pretty big news.
It is. It's I'm pretty happy.
Available through FEC?
FEC.com.au or the Facebook.
No, just
Google Cranbourne.
That's what Google is.
Phonetic. Cranbourne Phonetic.
Thank you for that. And I guess we'll see you guys next time.